Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Ready to Emerge Detour Essentials Live. We are at season 8, if you can believe that. I'm still in shock that we've done 8 seasons of Emerge Detour Essential Live. If you're joining us for the first time, we are here every Wednesday when we're in season at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can follow us, watch, stream live, or watch all of our amazing episodes from season 1 to 7, and even the episode we did last week on our YouTube channel, Ready to Emerge, or on Facebook. We're so excited to be here. We had a great first episode last week, and we have an amazing guest this week. And so we can't wait to just get into it. But before that, of course, we never want to assume that you all know who we are. So let's just reintroduce ourselves. My name is Naomi Garrick, also known as the PR Chick. I'm a personal branding coach and trainer, as well as the CEO and founder of Garrick Communications, a boutique PR agency in Kingston. Essentially, I help individuals, companies, and brands to build more purposeful and profitable brands.
Yay.
Yay. Rochelle, why does your face look like that?
No, I was just thinking.
What are you thinking? Tell me, Rush. What are you thinking?
No,
I'm going to stop. I'm just going to say, hi, I'm Naomi Garrick. Welcome to Ready to
no,
Emerge.
because when you do it, and then you do it so smoothly. I'm looking at Catherine, who is like, "Why didn't I go first?" It's like
You already know. It's like
I was good.
I'm gonna go last. I'm not even sure. Let's see what my intro sounds like.
Apologize for your greatness.
exactly. You set the stage for the rest of us to get there.
Let's see what I love that Catherine's in her Valentine's colors. That's so
Thank
nice.
you.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys. I know it was yesterday, but it's still this week, right?
Hi everybody. I am Kathy Goodall, and I am a marketer. I am a consultant. I am a builder of brands, businesses, and people. I am a coach and a trainer, a podcaster, a YouTuber, and a part of the Emerge Trio. Welcome.
Most important, forgot to say that part.
Yeah, Catherine is like the Fontana of coaches. She's like, yeah, everything is there.
Oh my God, Rochelle, I feel like you're just on a roll.
Listen, it's your turn, Rush. Over to you, Rush.
No, I've been going to my bed earlier. Christian has been going to sleep earlier. And let me tell you, Marcy, you're smarter, wittier. It's amazing what it can do.
Sleep makes a big difference.
No, it does. So I watched an introduction the other day, and the person said as follows: "My name is Rochelle Cameron. I'm a human being. I'm a human." So I'm a human. So my name is Rochelle Cameron. I am an attorney at law, and I'm also an entrepreneur, the CEO and founder of Prescient Consulting Services Limited, a company that helps corporations, small, medium, large organizations, unleash the brilliance of their team members to truly affect their bottom line. I'm also a speaker, and with my team, we get to work with organizations of all types on workshops, leadership workshops, team building. So we are like a Fontana too of consultancy.
Yeah.
I feel like the Ready to Emerge team is like it's like the one-stop shop, actually. So on that note, I'll just give a little plug for Ready to Emerge. So Ready to Emerge, we host amazing summits, workshops, and as you can see, all 3 members of the Emerge Trio are speakers. So for your next event, corporate, commercial, personal, you have your speakers here.
Thanks for that plug, now.
Is in the house. Atlanta's in the house.
I've gotten so many phone calls to speak at events, and I'm like, I'm not. It's gonna be I need to check the dates to see if that's possible.
To speak at events, Kat?
In Jamaica.
That's excellent.
So we'll get to see you.
I'm fired.
You are far.
But for some, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
Anyway, guys, if you're joining us for the first time, let us know where you're joining from. I see people here from New York, from Atlanta.
and we know Jamaica's in the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
House.
Yep. We see Simone, we see Yashel, and of course, Rochelle, always the first online.
Always. And guys, if you are not already, I mean, we assume that you're already subscribing to our YouTube channel, but just in case you're not, now is a great time to just hit that subscribe button, share this link with a friend, let them know Ready to Emerge is back and that they don't want to miss tonight's episode.
No, I'm so excited. I'm ready to start.
Me too.
Rushy, you're up.
Okay. So, when you don't know how to start, but there's only one way that you can start. My people, my people, my people. Our people is in the house because our people is a person. And we know that when you hear my people, my people, my people, there's one person that comes to mind: royalty, the Empress herself, the powerful dynamo, this woman who is wife, entrepreneur, speaker, who is motivator, who has etched for Jamaica, not just for herself, but for Jamaica, a space in which people are able to express themselves. She works with the youth. Talk Up Youth. You know her on the radio. That voice is, you pick it up anywhere. The other day I was in the supermarket and I heard her and I watched as people just gravitate to her. I mean, she is a light. She's a beam that you cannot help but just be drawn to her. So I know so many of you have been dying to hear her story, have been just wanting to walk parts of her journey with her because you see yourself in her, because she gives you permission to be your best self. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and get ready because we are taking flight with royalty, Emprezz Golding.
Listen, what an introduction, Kathy, Rochelle, Naomi, and to all the viewers. Thank you so much. I feel so honored to be in the presence of royalty, other queens and princesses from different walks of life. I admire each and every one of you in all that you do. And all that you do. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Empress.
Thank
We're
you for
so
saying
happy to
yes.
have you.
We are so excited to have you.
You and Catherine color coordinated today.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, we're still in that love fever, honey.
yeah, I
February
don't
15,
understand.
we're
I
still in
just
that
knew
love vibe.
y'all were going to be in red tonight.
We're still celebrating love. I love red. It's my favorite color.
Ooh.
Well, it looks good. So, so there's just so many things that we could talk about. It's so hard to even decide where to start. I think normally we would open with your journey, but you have like so many different journeys that lead to who you are. And so I think we're going to break it up a little bit and start with you as a change agent and as an advocate. So tell us, how did Talk Up Youth start? Why did it start? And, every woman, all of these things that you have done to help develop and grow other people and build other people. Why? How?
Wow. Thank you, ladies, for having me. And again, welcome to all the listeners. I've known Naomi for a very long time. She knows I'm the rebel in the studio, I'm the rebel at any organization. So I've rubbed her the right way and the wrong way many times. I'm so glad she would say, yes, you could come on my show and emerge with me. All right. So ladies, I think, in life, when you're about 5 years old, you have talents, you have dreams, you have things that tug at your heartstring. And when I was a little girl and growing up, I always rooted for the underdog. I was always somewhat popular and fit into every group. I was friends with the nerds, the so called nerds. I was friends with the popular kids living in three countries: Jamaica, Miami, Australia. So I've had quite a cultural experience. And I had some negative experiences being the minority in a country that was all white. So I've had my own challenges. And I think that built that resilience in me to look at the underdog, knowing what it feels like to be picked on or to be the only one. And so I naturally and innately had the passion or ability to kind of stick up for people. And I remember seeing once on TV of these abandoned children in Africa, the terrible images that you had back in the day. Remember, you saw all these children with the big belly and stuff like that, malnourished. And I always said, I want to have a children's home. When I left Jamaica and I would come back all the time, like yearly, we would come back as a family. And I said to myself, boy, I really feel that this is where I'm going to live my life. And as I grew, I was like, this is where I'm going to serve. This is where I'm going to have impact. And I just knew it was somewhere that I wanted to do things. I saw people that had less than I had. And I said, I want to come back and give back. So with Talk Up Youth, I mean, coming back to Jamaica, and being on a radio show, The Corner on News Talk 93 FM with my husband, we would travel to every single community in Jamaica. Each week, we did a radio show where we covered the historical, social, educational, cultural issues and history of a community. And I learned so much, but I would see so much, and I'm like, how can I help? One day, big bold me, knowing nobody, having no links, no connections, decided to raise money for a children's home, not a children's home, sorry, a school in
Mhm.
Bull Bay called St. Tekla Hymenot. So because of my personality, I have no fear. I knocked on doors, corporate doors. Nobody knew me. I knew nobody. And they were like, okay, we'll help you. I was like, these are the needs and we need to rebuild this school before it shut down. And we raised millions of dollars. And that was kind of my first kind of article. Empress raises so and so amount for school to be rebuilt. And so I've always had this love to give back. And then I was on cable television. I was on TVJ because my background is in media, and Naomi knows that well. So I'm there and I'm doing a TV show called The Kings and Queens of Dancehall. We won't name the brand that sponsored it because they're not paying us tonight. We're going to talk about branding and things that you get paid to say. And yeah, okay, we'll talk about that later. But the Kings and Queens of Dancehall TV show was something which I loved. I love the idea of something new, being in media and having a media background. You want to create content and you want to anchor things that is new and fresh. And I was like, dancehall, our culture. I love dancehall. I love a rhythm. After 3 years, okay, the paycheck wasn't going up
Mhm.
and we weren't changing lives. It wasn't having impact. So I was like, okay, I need to create something. So I came up with this idea from meeting so many persons on the road, from the radio show, the TV show. We need to help young people. They need a voice. They have so many needs, and we need to connect this generation gap and see how we can help them. So I came up with this crazy, unsexy idea called Talk Up Youth, giving youth a voice. Knocked on 20 doors. Everybody said, no, we're not sponsoring it. I didn't give up. I kept going. Finally, at a networking event, Stephen Sykes and Butch Hendrickson said yes. They
Wow.
said yes. And they sponsored or invested, I should say, 8 years of my youth development program, which is a multiplicity of activities helping young people from scholarships, from training and development. It started as TV, but it just moved into so many activities and programs. So we've had a successful youth enterprise that has grown in the past 12 years and helped thousands of young people to move from here to here in motivation and education. So that's really the genesis
Wow.
and the story of how Talk Up You came about.
That is
Talk up you, Miss Effie, talk up
Talk Up
you.
Youth. And we are not you, but it's so good.
I
yeah.
love it. Listen, and I mean, I've been on the show before, and I mean, those kids are amazing. I mean, so talented, and they love you, Empress. You have made such an impact here in Jamaica. Like, I'm sure you're like a household name. We
Mhm.
all know who Empress is. And you said that, even I'll never forget you at RETV. Like, you knew when Empress was in the building. Like, she had no fear. She said whatever came to her mind or mouth. and but that has led you to so many different types of opportunities. You had
Yeah.
mentioned earlier about branding, right? And we said we're not talking about things we're not getting paid to talk about. Oh, Empress.
The boss of branding, we got to follow your guide, honey.
Oh,
When
that's
I
so
speak with authority because you have trained us. Okay,
funny.
let's
Oh my
talk to you.
God. I
Okay.
wasn't expecting that.
Your
So
book.
on that note, we're about to jump into your brand, Empress, because you're not just one. I mean, you are Empress is a brand, right? but it encompasses so many things. So, as Catherine mentioned, and you heard in the intro by Rochelle, it's, you are this dynamic personality. A lot of people don't know that Empress is actually a singer as well. Hello, Miss Empress. Empress sings. She's a motivator. You sit on quite a few boards. You have Talk Up Youth, you had your radio program, you've done all these different activities with your husband. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow an Empress and you see Zippy in her garden. Like, it's just, you have, and then you have just
And
taken on,
as a chef,
yeah, exactly. You've just taken on motherhood with this whole new, I think it just opened up a whole new world for you as well. And you're a philanthropist, and as Catherine said, it's very hard to decide, where to start, where to end, what exactly to talk about. But what I would ask, is, you spoke a little bit about the media, right? And the different things you did. But how did you get into media? We know how we've heard a little bit about Talk Up Youth, right? And what kind of drove that. But why media? Like, how did you even get into this space?
As a little girl, I was on stage. My dad in Australia, I was in plays. The Wiz, I played the Scarecrow.
Ooh,
I left Wagga Wagga country town. I went to Sydney to go to school to study media. I got a record deal with Sony Music, Warner Music, Solo.
you guys
I
know
went to
that?
the
You guys
yeah.
know that?
There's a lot of history. I always say I have 9 lives, and I think I'm at life number 7.
I feel like you could be. I feel like you have more than two more
I
left.
agree.
Like
Yeah,
it's a little. I feel like we have to bunch up some of those lives together to give you some more time, because
yeah,
it's
I
not
need a
just
little
two more you have
time. I need a little time. I've always loved the arts, and when it's innate. Everything is innate, and I always tell people, which I teach purpose. If you don't know what you should be doing in life and who you should be, go back to when you're 5 and talk about what did the aunties say about you? What did your mom
left.
say
Yes.
about you? What gave you that joy? And plug into that, and you'll find your purpose.
What made you feel good?
It makes you feel good. I love media. I love media with impact. So all of my media assets brings change, brings
Mm,
information that may not be popular, but it has a soul. Yeah. And it's
yes.
a reason why I do everything I do. I wake up and I have an ultimate goal. I have an advocacy, and everything that I do is committed to the advocacy. So if it's not in line with what my goal is, to uplift the race, uplift family, to help the less fortunate, especially my race first, and then I can help everybody else, even though it's about helping everybody ultimately. But first, we have to help ourselves. So everything I do is attached to a goal. And so with media, I had media was innate. I studied it, I did it, I ended up traveling the world just auditioning for things. I was in California, didn't make it as an actress, which was, not my calling. I guess at that time I would love to do a movie. And I've done a couple of things on the stage, but I remember I was the international brand agent for a company called Cedric and Cedar, which was the pioneers of hip hop. Cool
Ooh,
Herc, Grandmaster Caz, and we put on
yeah.
stage shows in Las Vegas, and I was there learning the hip hop, love me some hip hop, and I'm there like looking at the industry, and that gave me a wealth of knowledge on how the industry works globally, and even the struggle of the entertainer and the artist. And then I made a commitment to come back to Jamaica. It was a visa thing, I had to fly back to Australia or come back here,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what, because I don't live in America, even though it's contracted to an American company. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I'm going back to Jamaica, and I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do. I'm going to own a children's home. I'm going to help young people. I'm going to be in the business, and I'm going to be a star. That was what I said to myself. And I came back and did it. So some people say I'm a star,
Wait,
meaning I'm
can we just
shine
take a
bright.
minute? Can we just pause a minute? You said you were gonna do all those things, and you just said, and you came back and you did it. That deserves an applause. That is amazing, Empress, because you do not just say that you're gonna do things, right? A lot of us have these long wish lists of things
Yes.
that we want to do, but we don't. They say a goal without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah.
But you have these goals and you take action for
Yeah.
every single one, and it's tied back to purpose. You are definitely really someone that has a purposeful brand. The
yeah,
fact that you could tie it back to all the things that matter to you, So you have your key drivers, your driving force, and so you it makes it very easy for you to know when something is right and something is wrong, because you have
Exactly.
that clarity on who you are as a person and what matters to you and what will have
Yeah.
the most impact.
Yeah.
And Naomi, I'm so glad you said that, because sometimes as individuals we have self-doubt. Sometimes we sit home and we're like, "Oh God, I haven't reached where I really wanted to reach. I haven't had as much impact as I wanted to make. I don't have enough money that I thought I would have at this stage in my life." But sometimes you have to strip it back and say, "But hold on. Look at me. I have achieved everything I've ever wanted as a little girl, and I have. I wanted a husband, I wanted children, I wanted a fast car, I wanted a house, and then now I'm like, what next? And I'm not somebody that believes in modern materialism. I'm really about social and human connection. I
Yes.
just want to turn a frown to a smile. And I have not measured how many frowns I've turned to a smile. But, when somebody stops me and says, "Oh my God, you changed my life," I cry. Because I'm like, "Oh my God, I've given you hope. I've given you something." So I can die tomorrow and my kids will say, "Mommy, remember when we were in the supermarket and that guy came up and said you
Oh my
changed his life?" And
gosh.
I'm like, "That's why I live." So I'm happy to go now to say I've blessed somebody. But there's so much that we have to give others who don't have the opportunity. And that's really where I'm struggling now. I know I'm talented
Mm-hmm.
and I've removed self doubt, but I know that I don't have enough of the team to take what I have and really make a larger impact, not just in
Not yet.
Jamaica, but not yet. So I may need y'all to help manage
But
this.
yes, we do. We're ready.
We have
No.
a workshop for that.
No, but so I just want to ask you something, right? So I've had the privilege of also meeting Empress's brother, right? So when she tells you that she used to live in Australia, it became real to me when I met Terence. And I could not believe that you two are actually related, because when Terence tries to speak with a Jamaican accent, oh Lord, it's a disaster. But you talked about being in Australia and talked about being real minority in Australia, and making a decision to leave your family essentially is what you did to create your own space in Jamaica. What was that like for you? And what contributed to that decision, of that resolve of, I'm going back to Jamaica and leaving everything that I know?
Thanks, Kathy. At my wedding, my brother got up to speak, and they saw this strong, buff black man.
Mhm. He's
By the
he's
time he
extremely good looking, by the way.
very buff, I'm like, "You're a pastor and you're taking off your shirt and stuff on Instagram. Stop tempting the women. Stop doing that, bro." Like, I'm trying to be the big sister giving him advice, but he's not listening, Kathy. Okay,
So,
let's move on. Temptation is real.
As
Hallelujah.
everyone that's watching starts to Google Empress's brother,
Terrence Mullins, Pastor
find the
Terrence
shirtless
Mullins.
pastor.
Terrence Mullins, an amazing youth pastor. Big up Terrence's beautiful wife Emma, my
Emma,
beautiful
love her.
four
Yeah.
nieces and nephews.
Oh,
Oh,
So Australia, I struggled with identity. It's called fitting in. So here in Jamaica, I work with thousands of young persons over 15 years, and they have an identity crisis in their own land, amongst their very own. I was taken out, and I was in Australia. I'm the only black kid, and I never ever adapted, meaning I fought. It was like a warrior spirit. And a lot of times
mm,
when you meet people who are Pan Africanist and very Afro centered and understanding of self and advocating for it, it's because they've been removed from their environment where they were forced to find that. And I think
mhm.
that's what happened to me. And so, if you back in the days in Sydney, I was a hot girl. Me, I run the club, then me, I run everything. Every black person I come to me, my house, I where all the Jamaican food I cook. When you go to the club, you understand me, I star at club, Africans, everything, all the Caribbeans, you kind of you have an authority on the culture,
Yes.
you lead it. And so that was where my African identity, my Jamaican identity really began, to see myself outside of, you know, like what I was there and what everybody else was. And coming back to Jamaica, I was in love with culture.
Mhm.
I always had, it never left me. And so to become Australian by nature in culture,
Hmm.
I never fit. I just didn't fit. I mean, and I say to people all the time now, I reflect and I'm like, without Australia, I wouldn't have friends, best friends from Serbia, Greece, Italian. My best friend's Italian, Tanya Ciao, and when her dad would make me the fino and yeso ticanis and my Greek friends. I mean, I've traveled, lived, and enjoyed this cultural melting pot, which is Australia, which you're not going to get here. Yeah, you're not going to get that when you live in America. So now I'm looking back, reflecting, and saying, wow, what an experience. So
Mhm.
what happened to me was that I was always like, I'm never living here. And I was rebellious. Remember, I'm born in Australia and left as a baby and grew up at 5 months. So it's a full circle to go
Mhm.
back and
Yeah.
then to come back again now on
On your own terms.
my own terms has been very rewarding,
Mhm.
very satisfying, culturally, spiritually, and
Mhm.
even financially. And so I've come back and done what I said I wanted to do. And at full circle again, my dad is the one who went there because he had studied vet science in Queensland, married mommy and had to finish and went back with mommy and had us. And that was an experience. And now my mom dies. I go back, pack everything. And now my dad's back here with me. Like it's just a
Full,
360
full circle
cultural
all the
roller
way.
coaster. It's
Wow.
been crazy. But now I am more mature to say, wow, what value, what lessons. I see myself differently
Mhm.
because I didn't have the full Jamaican experience. I had a global experience. And so
Yes.
I know how it's benefited me. And it's very important, I think, for young persons to experience that. It makes you a different human being. And I think more compassionate to a
Mhm.
lot of the global challenges and issues.
Absolutely.
So Empress, I want to just go back a little bit. When we were speaking a lot about your journey in media, right? Because a lot of Jamaicans know you from the various media platforms that you've been on, and you've done such an incredible job. I'm sure we are all sad to see you moving on. However, we're sure you're moving on to bigger and better things, and we're just curious to know, like, do you know what is next for Empress? Are we gonna hear about that tonight, or are you still navigating your what's next? What's happening there?
Yeah, I'm navigating my what's next. My girlfriend texted me and she said, what are you doing now? You told me you needed a month. It's been 2 months. And I'm
Girl,
like, I
take
don't
your
know yet.
time.
Take
Take your time.
Thank you. So important.
Mhm.
So I leave spaces because it doesn't serve me.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I've had female prominent female broadcasters call me and say, you said something one day and I'm holding on to it, and that's what gave me the wings to leave. And I've said,
Wow.
if the place you are no longer serves you spiritually, financially,
Mhm.
with your strategy, your goals, your advocacy, get the hell out. Because I can tell you, I was on television, Jamaica, anchoring Smile. And the same thing why I started Talk Up Youth, with RETV, and when I had Magnum, it no longer served me. And it
Mhm.
didn't have the impact that I thought was needed for the
Yes.
development of my nation and my youth and my people. So with Smile Jamaica, I was happy, but there's a ceiling. And we have to talk about women in media. We're
Hmm.
paid very poorly, yeah? And how we make money is the multiple
Everything
things
else.
that we do outside of where you see us. So I want to just be clear. All these young girls that call me every day, I want to be an anchor, I want to be a broadcast, I want to be on TV. And let me tell you something, Jamaica media now pay you. These networks are worth billions, but you're only going to get this much because they're going to give you a $10,000 a show. When I started, it was $1,500, and I'm running up and down for 15 hours, and the station is making money. I ain't making no money, but we do it because it's our passion.
Yeah.
And so when I got a call from Nationwide to to anchor or to take on the Every Woman show, I was like, oh, this is me. I'm every woman. I'm this. I'm that. I'm a multi potentialite. I got all these things. This is right.
Yeah.
Gonna feed my soul. I came in. It was a beautiful arrangement where there was no ceiling, and whatever I did could make me earn, and it did. Profit up 200+% year one. We were doing great. Everything was good. Things happen now, new contracts come, and the contract doesn't serve you. What do? You got to walk away without
Mm.
fear, without knowing where you're going. Because if you know your soul, you know you have the potential, you know you're worth it, then the universe and the law The law of the universe of giving will give you back. So if
Mm,
you know you have the talent, you've worked, you put it out. Don't be afraid to walk out there because you have to shut a door for a door to open. And that's what I've always done. So right now, I have 4 or 5 creative concepts on paper that I'm
mm.
working on for TV,
Yes,
for no longer just Jamaica reach because we have to expand our talent,
absolutely.
yeah, and our creativity. So I'm just working on it, and I'm so optimistic. I have no fear because
I
guess
can
what?
feel it, Empress. I can feel it.
Trust me, I don't know who's gonna bite, but that's what I've always done. Somebody I go bite, and guess what? If they don't, I'm happy to sell coffee on the roadside at a popular school because there ain't no coffee selling when the moms are turning up. They ain't had their morning coffee. I've been thinking about a wagon at some of the top prominent schools in Jamaica where people love them some cappuccino, and I will sell it from the back of a wagon if my product don't work.
That
I
is
feel
very
like you still shouldn't sleep on that idea, Empress. I think there's you're onto something. Don't
Wagon,
sleep on that one.
it's gonna be the emerge wagon with Empress. Hold it up.
Emerging conversations with coffee.
yes.
We
Ooh!
onto something. We onto something. Um,
I'm ready,
I
guys.
love.
This is not just fluff, I'm
No,
ready.
No,
We're gonna meet on this next week.
listen. Let me just tell those watching. Don't try.
Don't try.
We're doing it.
don't try.
Okay. You'll
Copywritten,
know. Um,
IPO'd out.
but just to say that, I feel that's so important. One, that you're giving yourself time,
yes,
right? So you want to do all these things, but you don't have to do all these things right now.
right
We
now.
gotta breathe, or we get burnt out,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. And
I've
then
been there,
also,
it's very dangerous, Burnout,
oh
Yes.
yeah,
it makes
and
you
if
sick.
we talk about it like it's this thing, it's such
It's
a
a thing.
real thing. And then also the fact that you could also, like you know when it's time to go. A lot of us know when it's time to go, but we don't go.
We don't
We're
go.
We
we're
don't
afraid.
take that
The
step.
pay
We're
the
afraid.
paycheck. It's a paycheck.
It's not only the paycheck, it's
Oh,
what are people gonna
Comfort.
say?
And it's
ah,
comfort. It's a comfort of this is what you know.
Yeah. But a big thing here, especially I think in Jamaica, is like, what are they gonna say? What are they gonna think of me because I left this thing? Or it's we are surrounded by so many other factors, and then we then end up serving all the other things and not ourselves. And then there's resentment, right?
Yeah.
Because we stayed in this thing that we know deep down is not for us because of what either society is saying, or as again, imposter syndrome, like what am I going to do when I leave here? As Catherine said, this is what I know, this is my comfort zone. But I also agree that when you finally make that decision, like it is like God,
Open so
the
many doors.
universe, everything opens up for you, and opportunities that are more aligned with your purpose start coming your way.
mm,
Absolutely.
mm.
When you make that decision, when you I read something that spoke about, they call it like a grand gesture. We spoke about this, right, Rochelle? It's like you make this grand gesture to say that I am like either done with this thing, or you do something really significant that kind of triggers this signal out to the world that she's ready.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
we're ready. I am ready. My daughter is in here now. Hold on a second, ladies. Zippy, go to bed. Go brush your teeth
Uh-oh.
quickly. Don't play with me. And mommy's doing emerge right now.
We need
Get
to
out.
we need to have Zippy on a show
Come
talking
and say
about
hello quickly, Zippy. Say good
stuff
night to
from
the
her
aunties.
beautiful garden. That gave me so much joy during the pandemic watching that.
Very
Hi,
Good
good.
night,
hi.
Auntie
How are
Catherine, Auntie
you?
Rochelle, and Auntie Naomi. Say good night.
Nice.
Good night.
You're gonna brush your
We're
teeth
gonna have
now.
to have you on our show to talk about to present all the things from your garden for us.
You're gonna come on the show one day.
He's
Maybe.
like,
You'll think about
let
it.
me think about that one.
I'll have a think after I brush my teeth.
Yes. Okay. Go brush your teeth. Go to bed. Love
Bye.
you. Say bye. Say bye. 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 Okay.
And then where's Kush? Because
Kush is upstairs, my love. The baller. I'm
one as
raising a
well.
10-year-old pro baller, and
Yes,
he's
He's feeling
big baller.
And they're so intelligent, Empress.
Yeah.
yeah.
listen. You know what I do?
Vocabulary and just
It's
like everything.
exposure. Children must be exposed. I
Yeah.
don't have a nanny. I don't have a full-time helper. I mean, my house is a hot mess. If I turn the camera around, you're gonna be like, "No, what's up with you?" So I keep it like this, yeah, very centralized right here. But I've had people come in and I help, but I spend the time with my children. I
Wow.
have a driver, which I want to talk about. As a juggling mom, you have to bring in the people to make your life easier to do the things you need to do. But with that,
Absolutely.
even though he's driving, I'm talking with them in the back seat. So I would still ride the hill to school with them, even though he's driving, so we could bond.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think when you expose your children to just about everything, and then warn them of the dangers, they become resilient, they become well versed in everything. And so that's what I'm trying to do. They got their own little special needs, but I'm working on I'm working on it. It's real. Kids are not normal again.
No, because they are, and I think we feel like we have raised them because they've grown up with us, and but just listening to you talk, and I see Simone says, I love Empress vibes. Casita says, you're talking to me tonight. Scotty, hey, Scotty said facts, because you are speaking to a lot of things that, women think about, but as you say, we're afraid of doing. And you haven't said, I have no fear at all. You're like, it doesn't serve me. I take a moment, I rest, I recalibrate, and I have some plans in place. And if I have to sell coffee, I'll sell coffee, but I'll be good. And I think when you do that too, because sometimes when we think of the grand gesture, it's so scary. We're like, geez, on peace, do I have to fly it on a kite to say I've left? Or can I just, dear sirs, it's been real. Moving on, you know? So I remember when your mom passed away, um, and you shared that time with us, which seemed to herald a lot of changes for you. You changed your hairstyle, and can you tell us, are you able to share with us that transformative time for you? Because it was like another woman came out, and I was like, it's her mom, it's her mom.
Wow. Can I take a bathroom break and come back? Can I get like bathrooms are next door? I'm gonna take
Sure.
a 30-second bathroom break, and then I'm gonna come to that. Give me 30 seconds, guys. Can we do that? Can we do that? Hold on. I'm used to this, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be right back, right here on Emerge with Kathy, Rochelle, Naomi. So go.
So, guys, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Empress Golding, Catherine, Missy Catherine on top right.
This is
Amazing personality. And I mean, if you were just joining us, you have to watch this episode from the beginning. And this is an episode that you really do have to sit with your friends and go through. This is a multifaceted woman who
yeah.
represents versions of all of us.
Us. Yeah.
And in her story, I think she gives us permission. She's like, you could do it. You can do it. You can do all those things. And don't worry about everything being perfect. Like, give it a chance. Give all of your 9 lives and versions of yourself an opportunity to emerge. Catherine, I know you caught some quotes there. Deborah says she's so authentic, love her vibes. Isn't she? She's so.
No, honestly, I mean, she started talking about putting the right people in the right places because, I mean, I was wondering earlier how she does it because she spends so much time with the kids. She does all of these media things. She's always at a school talking. She's hosting something, but she's always extremely present with the children.
But let
And
me
I'm
tell
like,
you,
I'm with Stephen too.
towards the end of last year, there was a particular location that anytime I showed up there, it could be for coffee or a meeting. There was Miss Empress in a meeting doing something, like she just busy. She just she was always there, like, and she have a master plan. She have ideas, and she stop what she doing at her table, and she gonna come over to your table and go start brainstorming some things. Like, she's just always ready.
It's crazy. I'm just
Ready.
like, how do you manage all of those things?
Anyway, you good, Empress? Okay, I think you're still
You're
muted.
muted. Yeah.
Hey, ladies, I'm back. I'm back. That was the quickest bathroom break I've ever had. You know, I had to sneak and check on the kids same time, right? Like, you
Yeah.
guys good?
You have to do
Peeing,
all
but
the
you guys
things.
good? I'm peeing, but you guys good? Good, good. All right. I wash my hands too.
Ah,
This disclaimer, I wash my hands.
even if you didn't, we wouldn't judge you, girl.
Right, but sometimes we can have that conversation. There's something sometimes as a juggling mom, we won't tell the world the stuff that we
No, not
wow
today.
we have to go through. Okay. Okay. So okay, this is as you started to speak. I went into an emotional quick cave where I was like, quickly, come out, come on, you got you weren't expecting this because it's I lost my mom in 2019. I was driving to the beach with my husband and the kids. It was going to be a really fun family day because we hadn't had one in a while. And someone said to me, you know what, text daddy and say, what's up? Because he said mommy had gone to hospital for a check. The response was, she's no longer. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm driving. And I was like, Steven's driving, my husband, like, okay, stop, stop. Sunken. I called. I don't know what I did, but it was a daze. I just remember Steven and the kids were everybody was silent. It was a drive back to the house, and I'm bawling. He takes the kids in and puts them in the room, and apparently they're crying because they're seeing mommy cry. I don't come out the car for a good hour and a bit, and I'm in there trying to figure it out. The girlfriends turn up 3 hours later. Um, I'm on a plane 2 days later, flying to Australia, lost in a daze because I've got to go and do this. There's only two children. I'm the eldest, and it's my responsibility. I've left my family. I'm gone. I'm flying. I drop at Kingston Airport. This policewoman picks me up, and she puts me on the plane and walks me to my seat. I'm in a daze. I get to Atlanta, same thing. I'm just lost, and I'm not. I'm not. I'm more. They're dramatic mourners. I'm not one of those. Never been in my life. But now I look back. I'm like, I was lost. I was in so much pain. I didn't know, but I just adrenaline. I gotta go. Gotta go. Organize everything. I get there. Long story short, after a week, my dad and I are there. My brother comes. We plan a beautiful memorial. I didn't know who my mom really was until that day because as much as she was my best friend and thank God I had the Christmas with her before she passed, I'm going to the mall and there are like a lot of African immigrants in Wagga Wagga where my parents were. And there's some, are you Joy daughter? I say, yeah, she's my mother. She's my daughter's grandmother. I said, really? Where she find time to be here? Yeah, she take my daughter to the park. I said, what? The way my mother busy. My mother run, she is the top guidance counselor for one of the biggest schools. She has a private practice as well, and she has a service practice where she gives free counseling as a psychologist to people. So my mother is very busy. So I'm like, how do you find time to be this woman to all these people? When the memorial happened, I said, Lord have mercy, the amount of people who turned up. And I'm like, wow, you helped. I mean, nearly committed suicide. Your mom drove here and she helped me. I'm just like listening to these stories, like, this woman is amazing. We got through that. People turned up so much food, and when you're good, your children are good. When you give back to the community and you're served, your children will always benefit. And from that day, the support that I've had, the people who have held me up, are only because of who my mother was. And it's a life lesson. You have to be intentional about what you do. It's not for us. The Ma'at and all the principles talk about family. Give love, and your children will receive. Because
Mm.
I have received so much to this day. The free counseling, I have psychologists and mentors who are like, every day I don't pay for it. They call me every day. Did you do this? Did you do that? I'm like, oh my God. And I'm so okay because they've guided me because of what my mother did. So when it happened, I was broken. I had a memorial there. I had one here. I just did everything on autopilot. And then I realized I didn't stop. I didn't heal. And then I realized there's a thing called the business of death, which we don't talk about. My mom didn't have a will, didn't have much. Lived a good enough life from the poorest of the poorest in Jamaica to having a nice house in Falmouth where we grew up to going to Miami, to scaling down, to going to Sydney, Australia, living in a migrant building where we're sharing a bath with all kind of immigrants, to move into a country house where in country Australia where we had this nice big house, which it was not valued anything. And then there's other things which our parents have sins, not my mom per se, but let's just say sometimes the parent gambles and the house is no longer really fully theirs, and you realize, oh shoot, what happens now? You go through it, and after you look at everything, there ain't no money for the spouse to live the best life after, and then you take on this responsibility. So, in a nutshell, there's the business of death and having conversation with your parents about what happens when one of you die. Where are your assets? Is this going to be my responsibility? Y'all plan for this? You understand? So it was a rough and has been a rough few years for me to to work it out. Emotionally, I lost my best friend. I lost a woman that when I open her phone, every screenshot of every post I have on Instagram is saved as a picture.
Oh my
She learned
goodness.
to screenshot. There's a message she sent me before, basically reassured how proud she was of me. And there's something about telling your children what
Yes.
you think of them and encouraging them, because that day when you go, that's all we can hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
When she died, I took her clothing and gave it to the less fortunate of the immigrant community. And I took her favorite pieces and made them into cushions with her signature and quotes and gave it to her loved ones, including the grandchildren. That's how I healed. But it's been hard because I don't have that mother guide. I'm raising two kids, and my mom would have been here right now because they were planning their retirement in Jamaica,
Oh.
And now I have my dad, who I love dearly, but that's been quite a roller coaster. He's depressed emotionally, going through the loss of his wife. He has stage 4 prostate cancer, and he has the worst diabetes. And these are the things that I consume and manage. So it's something we don't talk about as children. What happens when your parent gets there? We need to have those conversations because it's really draining, and it's going to happen to us.
Yeah.
We're going to get old, and if we have children and we don't, we have to have a plan. And my hair, I had locks and it was falling out. The stress will kill you. And I remember just going like that. I was like, oh, I'm like dry and it's just falling out. And I don't know what I was thinking, but when people are sad, they cut. Young people cut. They cut their wrists. I cut my hair, and I cut it off and wanted a rebirth. And so I'm not healed, because I mask it with everything. Like I haven't, but there are people, and there are people who helped me to recognize it. When I went on Simone's show, on what's Simone's show again?
Soul speaks.
Yes,
Yes.
Kim Speaks.
Yeah.
Simone called me. I was like, her mom died, and I'm like, why do you? I'm not coming on your show, girl. I can't manage that. She's like, I'm like, you're shooting? You're shooting a week later? Are you crazy? Your mom just died. And she's like, yeah, I need to do this. She would want me to. And I was like, okay. She called me to be her support. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been here. I know how to. Me? A mia bal. I was like, I'm not healed. Sonia Winter, the therapist, said, you're not okay. I went to be a support for a colleague and friend, and I wasn't okay. So, death is real. There's a business of death. We need to. There's a book in my message office which I think people need. Um, Patrice Dwyer. She has this like, it's so funny. It's right here, guys. I'm gonna show it to you. Something that we need to talk about. It's called "It's Your Life Care Directive and Transition Plan," a guide designed to assist you to identify and detail your wishes so that your will be done.
Wow.
So it
Wow.
takes it. It's amazing. It's an
Where is
amazing
where
book.
is that book?
It's Patrice Dwyer. Is her name. I know she's on Instagram, but with this book, it takes you through important contacts. So if
Mhm.
I die now, right? Why are my children looking at my passwords? And when things go interstate or whatever that technical stuff is, y'all are the lawyers in the building watching, and Rochelle help me out. There's things things are complicated when somebody dies, but if you have it all written out, even the passwords, even if
Yes.
I captured mommy's laptop and I was able to send out to people. When I got there, I went into her computer and an appointment popped up. And the appointment said, nails. One thing my mother never missed was her twice a week, twice a month nail appointment. One thing we know about my mother, I'm trying to be like her, okay? Live with joy, okay? Listen, there are some many lessons I've taken from her, and I think the setup you had said, Naomi, there are things about me that have changed. There's attitude change, behavioral changes. And because I only live my life now guided by her light, which is she was inimitable.
Mhm.
And she's never said a bad word about anybody. Growing up, you can't, no matter how bad, the only, she saw some good in everything and everybody. We're like, yo, how do you see good in that? Like she, it's very strange that she's never had anything negative to say about anybody. And so she brought so much joy. And so my thing is joy.
Mhm.
Everything must be joy. It must be geared at joy. We must help people to find joy. But when that nail appointment came up, I got on the phone and I said, "Oh, hi, my mom has a nail appointment. I want to let you know that she passed away." They said, "We know." They said, "Come, let's look after you." So I turned up and they did my nails and they showed me and they said, "This was the color she wore before she died. And she's never worn that color, blue." And I'm like, which I knew because I had you know, seen it on her before. And I put on the blue and they showed me the seat she sat in. They're like, "Oh yeah, when she got her anklet," and they were just taking me through this journey and how much she blessed them. And so my life now is to only bless. Every encounter must be a giving experience,
Yeah.
not a receiving. I must give. And so simple things. People have business ideas, and I'll connect them, and I'm like, let me give. And so this wasn't part of the interview, though, guys. You guys, we're gonna talk about other stuff. But
But you know what you've done,
It's going exactly where it's supposed to
yeah,
go.
and you have given tonight in a way that causes all of us to take that moment to stop and to consider. Um, I was always a fan, and when your mom passed, I became a lifelong fan. And you said something today that I know a lot of our viewers are like, thank you. You said, I haven't healed yet, I am healing. So people see you and you are beautiful and you are alive and you're fresh, but you are blessing other lives, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening with you. And we see people and we're like, oh, everything is fine with her, everything is fine with her,
no,
and we don't know. So
no.
you gave us permission earlier to step out, and you're also giving us permission to step in and heal.
Yeah, it's very
You
important.
are an amazing woman, and your mother is applauding, 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 as I'm sure my mother is watching to say, Jamaica, I need for me tar, I need for me
I
tar.
can't wait, especially if mommy cooks on a Sunday, because I'm looking to adopt a mom right now. I got the spiritual realm mom, but I'm looking for
Well, I mean,
the physical.
we're willing to share, Marcy. We're
Yes,
willing.
Well, you know,
good.
Marcy will take her with
We're
open.
willing.
It's just that she's not here, Catherine. She's not here. But you know what, Empress, when you were just sharing this story about your mom and all the things she did and how people see her all over the place and they had all these amazing things to say about her, and when they saw you, they could tell you all these stories. But
See,
that's you.
Mhm.
Like I'm listening to you and I'm like, when I Empress that.
Exactly.
No, no, serious. Like while you're, I'm like, what she's talking about herself though. This. So you are already
how did she
doing the
do all
things
of
that your
this?
mom did. That you are her, and she is you, and that's all I could see while you were talking and sharing this story, Empress. So
I really hope so because you know I just want to leave this earth, and I had a near death experience last year, and I woke up and said, "Boy, every day impact." And I remember growing up, her mommy telling us stories without names, there was confidentiality and professionalism, but she would tell us these stories of, and I'm like, wow, the world is messed up. And then I entered this realm where I won't say her name. She messaged me, and I'm supposed to try and have breakfast. If you see me at the popular spot, Naomi, you'll know who she is. We're supposed to have coffee and breakfast. I told her I want to take her out at 11. She said to me, Miss Auntie Empress, I can't sleep. I said, what happened? She says, every night I see him raping me. And I said, who? She said, my dad. She was 11. And and she's just graduated at university. She's at university now. She got great subjects, and she was accepted to UE. And I decided, now look at that. You were 11, now you're at UE, and now it's my time to give you the woman mentorship that I've given you as a girl. But she was hallucinating at night. There wasn't enough care from the state. She was a ward of the state. And I said to myself, if each and every one of us can take one, just one child at risk and guide them, we'd have a much better country. 'Cause all of we love this country. All of us live here. And I've been in the belly of the beast, and it's very scary to know that there is no love, that there's this transgenerational pain that cannot be broken. And it's God, but it's bigger than God. It's God and us,
Yeah.
meaning God needs us and the universe needs us, and we have to have a plan together to rescue this traumatic energy that lingers in our humans that we have to engage every day.
Yeah.
And so I think about mom stories, and I go back to that, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have no training in psychology. I've sure done some courses, psychological first aid, global adolescent health. I've done these, upskilling stuff
Mhm.
to kind of understand what's in front of me. But I think that is her legacy, is that we are all counselors and
Yes.
psychologists because we have something we can offer
Absolutely.
somebody who doesn't know how. So we're all teachers, and she's a teacher. And so I think that's what guides me. Yeah.
Wow. I remember when I wanted to, I had taken down Christian's crib. Not that he ever slept in it, but
In your bed, right?
to give him a bed that he had also never slept
Motivated.
in. This is what we do. And I was driving on the road, and you were on with every woman, and you do, and you just do. And I don't even know sometimes if you know the impact you have. So whenever I'm on the road at that time, I always listen to you. And you said, you're like, there's always something that you can do. So you look around you at all, and you're like, I can't make a difference in this big space. And you're like, no, no, don't think big. Think of that little thing that you can do. And I remember the crib, and I was like, somebody can benefit. And I messaged her, and she responded right away. And she's like, put it down. I have somebody for it.
I nearly forgot coming into this, Rochelle.
You're so amazing. I'm telling you, you can't even absorb the impact that you have because
Listen, what
it's
you did. No, I'm going to tell you what you did in responding to the universe's call through me. I'm just a vessel. That's not
Mm,
even me. I said it. Maybe it's the universe. It's good energy. When I said that, and we have to go through a process, and I have teams trying to get things here to get to people and all of that kind of stuff. That there are so many people who are in need, and it's about your advocacy. And I will definitely credit Michael Lee Chin. Now I know at the top of the show you mentioned, guys, that I work on boards. Um, I was on the Maxwell Park Children's Home Board for
mhm,
5 years, and then I was on simultaneously. I was on in the Manly
Mhm.
board, and I quit that recently, and now I'm on the NCB Foundation board, which I love. I like spending all that my fees money on good stuff. Good stuff too. It's a great board. It's a great foundation because it does so much, and I can see it. So I'm like, every time they take my money, my fees, I'm like, yes, because I know we're giving back. So don't feel no way. But I I know the needs, and there's a genesis to everything. When I had Kush, my son, I remember a lady messaged me on Facebook, and I can't keep up with the Facebook messages, but I had a bag of clothes, and I met her at the Trade Center on Red Hills Road. I drove in my car, I gave her the bag. I was like, "Hi, mommy, take this," because yes, she's desperate, she needs clothes. Years later, I run into the lady. I do not recognize her. I don't remember your face. She shows me a picture of all my son's clothes her son was wearing. And she said, "You don't know how much you changed my life." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So this is what created that culture of saying people need things. Rochelle, I'm glad you mentioned that. And this is important for anybody who wants to do things in life and people tell you no. If your heart say yes, say yes. And anything that comes in your way, you gotta knock it down because you know where you're going. But quickly, I wanted to credit Michael Lee sharing his framework for success was strategy, execution, and advocacy. And I just want to just say, if you ever hear him speak, just know your strategy, know your execution, know your advocacy, and you will always do what's right, and it will always
Mhm.
come to life. Whatever your goals are. Once you know your advocacy, you're good with the strategy. The C, strategy, execution, advocacy. Michael Leachin. So I live by that now. I didn't know I was living by it till the other day. We're at a session at NCB Foundation, and he said it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't get it out of my head. If I'm not in the sea, then I ain't doing it. But
Love
yes,
that.
if I ain't in the sea, I'm not doing it. But you responding. When I had the idea at the time, the producer looked at me and said, "That's not gonna work. People don't want no secondhand thing. Now my children lived on secondhand. My crib was secondhand. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Samantha Charles, thank you. My secondhand crib. All of the clothes, if you wear the nice stuff, then my friend who rich, had very expensive designer clothes, and their children wear for one day, and I'm very happy to receive it secondhand. My daughter wears designer that I didn't have to buy. Thank you, Karen, and the crew. They know I love me some hand me downs. So I understand the needs of my people. I have traveled the width and breadth of my country. I'm in the children's homes, the juvenile centers, the prisons. I know the needs. And the reality is, we have so much. We have an abundance. And it's our duty to give back. And that
Mhm.
law of giving means we will receive. And I don't give to receive. It's been very hard for me to receive. It's uncomfortable. Sometimes people gift me and they're like, oh, I'm like, why do I deserve this? I'm working on that. I'm working on saying
Yeah.
thank you. But it's like, no, humbly saying, give to somebody else. But no, I want that too. And I'm learning to say, yeah, I want it. I need it. Yes. But what you did was responding to a call that somebody told me wasn't right, wasn't good, wasn't ethical, and that people would feel that we were disrespecting them. But then you now responding, bless the woman who didn't have a crib. But
Exactly.
we said no because they couldn't understand our vision.
Mhm.
And, we must recycle, upcycle,
Yeah.
give back.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so thank you for responding to the call. And thank you Nationwide for giving me the voice because I had freedom to do and create. I'm
Yes.
very, very grateful for the space that I've
Mhm.
never had in media. I've never, outside of the products that I produce,
Yeah.
I've never had that media space that Cliff said, be you, do you, say you, just don't take me to court. Nearly did once. But,
No, trust me. Just to reiterate what Naomi said about the impact that you have, I listen to Talk Up You Saturday mornings, right? On
Yeah.
mm,
Saturday mornings, and there is never a Saturday morning that they do not talk about you. Never.
love them, you see. Then give me headache though. All of them listening. I whole heap of work. A whole heap of heartless. Hey, when them late, $5,000 fine. Some of the projects. Yeah, man. Me I say we have a Hey,
Yes,
one called me the other
absolutely.
day. Yeah. One called me the other day, Kathy. When he called me, I said, well, I'm going to call him out now in name Romario. And I need to catch up with him. Romario, give me trouble. Mario is our most amazing, what do you call him? Actuary science
Real science, yeah.
gurus. And he's done so well. But, I was very instrumental in his scholarship to university to get his degree and gave him one of his first big projects. And he was a damn headache. And I go and talk in business. 'Cause all of them know me not on the filter. I tell them, if you don't, I go and call your business out. And you can say whatever, but I'm so proud of you, Romario, for what you've achieved. You were a handful. And we are to connect, and we're going to work on some projects in teaching youth uh, financial literacy, and
Right.
that's his give back and my give back, and hopefully we can make money doing it. But Romario was a headache, but he said to me on the phone, I want you to meet the new Romario
Oof.
because everything you taught me at that time I didn't know, but I've learned everything from you, and you've changed my life.
Amazing.
Wow.
I
So
can't
impact.
Watch Joy.
right?
And thank you, Rochelle, for the crib. And that young lady was very happy.
I feel like there's just so many more things that we want to talk about, and I
Yeah, I
can't
feel
wait
like
that
this could have been a 2 hour episode for sure.
certainly.
For sure. I can't believe it's after 9.
I lie. After 9 already?
Yeah, time flies when you're
I
having
feel we could be here till midnight. I feel like we need like a soul purge.
absolutely.
I feel like
I agree.
I think one we probably do need to gather when Catherine is on the island and do exactly that. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be there in April. I'm
Okay,
giving y'all notice.
thank you. Noted.
Ready. But
Oh,
I admire you all for what you do, and I just wanted to say, watching your workshops, your conferences, and watching you during COVID do what you do, and the women that you brought on, the people you brought on. I just want to say congratulations,
thank
and it is about the collaboration. It's a new currency, and we need to not be afraid of this new
Oof.
currency.
Say that again. Collaboration is a new currency.
Yeah,
Such
I,
a
I,
big-
I won't I won't credit myself on that one. Erica McKenzie that filled in for me on the show, and on Every Woman when I had to go to DR to do a show, which I never got paid for. That's a whole nother conversation. 2 weeks in the DR and I never got paid. Okay, lesson learned. But Erica would fill in for me, and she was the one when we were talking about growth and how we support each other and how we earn together was like, girl, collaboration is a new currency. I said, Erica, we are run with this. Yeah, I will never steal credit from the inspiration that gives me life and helps me to inspire the next generation of women to emerge, which is our responsibility with our network, which Les Brown would say, I've shared a stage bringing him on twice, that your network is your net worth.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
my net worth is not about money. It really is about health and wealth, which is I can eat, my kids are good, I can give. Sometimes I don't know where the money I come from. Hey, sometimes I broke.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look on the bank account. I mean, I say, what happened? I'm a nervous.
Yeah.
But something always happens because we have
Yeah.
the right network, and we have talent, and we have, a good soul. And I think we'll be okay. And we just need to make sure that the rest of the society is okay. Because if they're not, we'll be the beneficiaries
Yeah.
of their crime because they were so sad that they felt that they had to take from us because we didn't help them. So we have to be very careful and intentional how we present what we do so that everybody is okay, you know?
Absolutely.
Very dear to my heart. And I really feel that that is something I want to share with people. Can't be us alone. Can't be selfish.
Yep. Deborah said we need another episode.
Deborah. Yeah, try live. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wake up. I made dinner tonight. I lobster salad and then okra, like an Indian okra and salt fish with some yam for the kids. So I'm gonna go yam some of it because everybody's eating except me.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for saying yes. And we are definitely going to have our link up when we get back. And we're gonna call you because we want to talk to you about some other things.
I'm
Yes.
ready. I'm ready. Impact. And to all the viewers, thank you so much for being here. And I don't know how we can connect, but I'm on social media at Emprezz Golding. I promise to check the messages later. I'd
Um,
love to see
there's
you.
a message that look at my saints, Peter and Paul, girl. Your teacher is cheering you on. That would be Carol Blanchard.
Carol is on now.
Yes.
Hi. I mean, yeah, it's Miss Blanchard from Winter Prep.
I'm
But
seeing
but,
you.
that's my Miss Blanchard
Everybody's Miss Blanchard. I'm
from
like,
St. Pete and Paul Prep.
Okay, she was at Mona Prep as well.
That's yours.
I just found out that she left last year.
I remember I went to speak to the brownies initiation at Mona Prep, and that's when she came up to me. I was like, "Oh my God, Miss Blanchard!"
Yeah,
Look at the teachers though. They deserve more pay. Talk the truth.
absolutely. I say it all the time. All the
More
time.
love, more pay.
Yep.
but Empress, as you chart this next phase of your journey, we're praying for you just amazing blessings. As you say, doors have to close for other doors to open. And we just pray that the right people will be presented in your space.
Yes.
And that all that your mother has done, all of these seeds that she has planted to nurture who you are now, that you will see them bloom. That all she's invested in growing the earth, that's you and your brother, she'll see it bloom. She'll see it bloom. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay.
Oh gosh, I need that, and I need that for all of us. And I will say, guys, if you want to get your brand out, get this book. Just kind of work on it.
We're all living testimonies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Empress. I
Totally.
appreciate that plug.
No, I mean,
Sometimes
I
I don't
only
have to plug my own self.
right.
So,
But Naomi, I only, I've known you for so long, and I want to just say I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of all of you and the work that you're doing. But it's important because people want to know how do you brand yourself, and it's at the basic level of what I teach. When I walk into a room of teenagers and I'm like, you're selling yourself today. I remember I was at Digicel downtown.
wait, sorry,
Plug.
1 second, Empress. My dad just told me to make sure to tell you hi. It's like tell Empress hi.
The boss never carried. You mean the real OG? Hey, Uncle Dad, Nev, love you. Oh God, I love it. Hey, talk about
He's
talent
hearing
and
everything.
history.
So
I love it. So that's called talent. That's called history.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fly to LA and do my interview with him. I did this
yes.
in Empress Studio where I had like Carl Douglas who sang Kung Fu Fighting. I did Bob Andy, Stranger Cole. I did oh my God, Bunny Wailer. I did Toots. I did oh my gosh. And so Neville, Uncle Neville, I should say, pay some respect to the elder. I'm coming to interview him in California with my little one camera.
He's ready whenever you are.
Yeah, as long as we can catch coming on a hotel money.
Well, Empress, you better than us because we've been asking for an interview for about 3 years now.
Let me just disappear slowly. Hey,
Maybe I should disappear too.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, we should disappear.
The big man, I
Oh,
stay.
this is your first time watching us on Emerge. We are here every Wednesday
Yes.
at 8 p.m. Like you just say Central
Central Standard.
Standard Time. And we are at season 8. Today is our second episode, but today is our first episode with a guest. So our opening guest is, and she used that word earlier, one of my favorite words, the inimitable.
Yes.
Emprezz Golding.
Yes.
And this is the episode that you were wondering, the friend that you didn't give a Christmas gift to, this is the gift.
Mhm.
Anything for this. This is a present. She gave us a snapshot of her life and the things that have influenced her, but all of us can see ourselves in her, and she has given us permission to heal, but bigger than that, permission to step out even when you're scared, because everything, what did you say, everything is gonna be okay. It's
Like
gonna
Bob Marley said. Oh, Naomi said earlier, Rochelle, you know we ain't going nowhere because I love on the energy. Like Naomi said, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Yes, I'm a singer, but I never made it. I still sing on the earth, and I feel good, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Yeah.
Hair daddy on here. Somebody looking at singing contract.
Oh, you know, in my release, so you know, I
And
always
Empress, guess what?
audition.
It's not too late, girl.
Let me
Yes.
say, hey, look at Shirley.
Look at
Actually, Ralph.
like
Yep.
literally,
Yep.
she has been doing this forever, and it's now. Now is her time.
50 something.
So you just have to keep doing the thing that you love.
I love music. I love music, and I want to explore. Like, I feel alive when a band is playing, and I'm like, even if I'm out of key, I just love I love
Let's
music.
see what
I just,
Miss Blanchard put. She said, "If it is God's will, it is His bill."
ooh,
be well.
Yes.
So as we close tonight episode, we've been saying, guys, what new things we have. We have Empress to close out with a song. So guys, we'll see you again next week. And I'm rocking where you are. Empress, over to you. New career. Come on.
I lie. All I wanna say is thank you, ladies. I'm going to bed now. Wanna check on my kids.
Keep
Just
coming
a little
first.
something, 'cause you know how it is. Ladies, you ready to emerge, merge.
You know where something. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. No, next week, guys. We're taking a break next week because
So we can't even say we're taking a break because we just came back. So it's not really a break, but it's a holiday, guys. It's Ash Wednesday.
so we'll be back on March
We'll be
1st.
off air
Okay,
on Wednesday coming, but we'll be back the following Wednesday.
March 1st.
Naomi said the thing right.
We cannot be taking a break and we just came off of a break.
I know, right?
So we
Bye,
just
guys.
off air for an episode. That's all.
Love you, kids. Love to a Johnny, Naomi.
I will give him love for sure.
Yes,